Hello and welcome to The Dirt and the Divine. I'm Krisha Young, your podcast host and an advocate for living a fully aligned and unapologetic life. This podcast is rooted in the belief that every beautiful life grows from both the messy and the magnificent. And here we share raw, real stories of people who faced life's hardest moments, took radical responsibility, and chose joy and alignment over avoidance. My hope is that you hear these conversations and think, well, if they made it through and found happiness, so can I. This space is about honoring both the dirt and the divine because together they shape a life worth living. Please note that this podcast is for general discussion only and is not a substitute for therapy, legal, or professional advice. So now let's dive in. So today I have a special guest, Ian Coll. He is a men's embodiment and leadership coach, guiding men into deeper presence, emotional mastery, and unshakable confidence. I love that. From the inside out. His work fuses men's work, embodiment practices, and high level leadership coaching to help men break free from outdated patterns, reclaim their inner power, and lead with clarity and integrity in every area of life. Ian's approach isn't about external validation, it's about aligning with the deeper truth of who you are so you can show up fully in your relationships, career, and purpose. Hello, Ian.
Hello, Krisha. How are you doing?
I'm good. I know that the feminine has just like done a collective sigh of relief at that bio because
Mm,
yes, please, more.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being here. I'm excited to have this conversation. Why don't you tell us a little bit about like how you got into men's work and why this is so important for you?
Yeah, absolutely. And I just want to first off just say thank you for having me on. And you have a lot of women on your podcast and you want to have some more male voices on here. So I'm definitely grateful that we're able to chat today. In terms of how I got here, I'll kind of give you the bit of the high level overview. My personal growth journey started when I was pretty young. It was back in 2018. And I went into a yoga teacher training program. And the program that I went into was very focused on healing. It was very spiritual and it was very focused, honestly, on growth. And that was kind of the first awakening, for lack of a better word, of how I started to become aware of some of the ways that I am, some of the ways that I was raised. And that was kind of the takeoff point. That was the entrance point. Fast forward a couple of years forward, 2021, my now wife and I, but we were dating at the time, we were just starting to have some really deep relationship issues. We were at kind of that year 7 in the relationship, which is where things can typically start to break and fall apart, and issues seem to rise. And in a moment when our relationship was on the line, I found my first men's group. And I joined this online program. This 6 months program. There was like 200 dudes. It was all on Zoom. It was in the middle of COVID, and it was kind of like, this is it. Like, I didn't know what it was at the moment, but just being around these men, being around these powerful, trustable, like integral dudes, and like the standard was so high from where I was living at the time. And these guys were so just bulletproof. And all I knew in the moment was I just wanted to be around that. And I pretty much started orienting my entire life around men's work moving forward. That led to, another program, which started leading to finding a mentor, which then led to retreats and men's intensives, which then led to couples work. So working with intimacy coaches with my wife and tending workshops, and it kind of just kept going and going and going. And then, last summer it got to the point where I was working with a lot of entrepreneurs around their health, and I had worked with this coach, and she's like, I think you want to work with men. I just think you're not admitting it. And she was right. And at that point, I started, you're right. Like, I want to work with men. Like, I've learned so much and I've trained so much. And this is the part of my life that has made a huge impact in who I am and how I'm showing up for my partner. And I feel like I have an obligation to bring it to the world and teach other men a lot of the skills and the trainings and the lessons that I've learned over the course of my 10-year relationship. So here we are. It's now summer 2025, and I'm fully in it, leading groups of men and really helping them show up better so they can create more love, create more trust in their relationships. And It's really about being the type of men that can create healing in the world. The world really needs that from us. So not an easy task, as you can understand, but it's where my life purpose really feels true right now, and that's all I'm focusing on at the moment is bringing this to the world.
What a beautiful story. I love all of that. And thank you. Thank you for, first of all, thank you for doing your own version of the work, right? For yourself,
Hmm.
because you have walked the path of actually of becoming a healthy man, right? But also thank you for following your calling. And, you know,
Mm.
like you said, for now, right? Like, who knows, maybe down the road, like, I think at the end of the day, this is human work.
Hmm.
It's human work, right? Like I predominantly
Totally.
work with women, but I've had a lot of male clients because at the end of the
Yeah.
day, we're humans on this experience, right? Um,
Totally.
but I do think that from what I'm learning and what I'm gathering, is that men do really well when being coached and mentored by other men, because like only men can really understand how men think, right? And like for my journey, it started with women's circles and like high touch goddess circles where
Yeah.
we had this like really safe environment for us to be in our bodies, right?
Hmm.
That just doesn't exist out there. And even in like co-ed types of environments, it's really challenging for women to get into their bodies around men, you know,
Yeah.
that like, well, we don't want to be, you know, whatever, right? At an unconscious
Absolutely. It's
level.
safety. It's safety on an unconscious level, right? Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. I love that, creating healing. And you said that you said one word that I want to like it's such a sexy word, integral, you know,
Mm.
being of integrity. What does that mean like for a man? Like my top three values are freedom, integrity, and growth. And I know what
Mm.
integrity means to me, for me, right? What does integrity mean for you? Like how would you define that? What does that look like for you? And then how do you help men get into integrity?
Absolutely. A good question. And it's funny because integrity is a huge conversation that we have in men's workspaces. A lot of conversations I have with my clients. And I'm going to give a slightly more nuanced and slightly deeper approach to integrity than just the typical definition. Like
Stay
most
on
people
purpose.
understand, yeah, most people understand integrity is like, do what you say, say what, like do what you say you're going to do, like stay true to your word. But integrity can go many layers deeper. And I break up integrity into a couple of different buckets. You do have integrity of your word, like that's number one. So like follow through on what you say you're going to do. And if you can't, or you need to, renegotiate, then it's on you to renegotiate and make sure that, you're in integrity there. There's also integrity of your body. There's integrity, and I'll go through these a little bit more one by one. There's integrity of your purpose. There's also being integrity with the truth of your heart.
Yep.
So basically, the concept is that in life, we're always like, as men, we're always out of integrity somewhere. And it's all about how can we continue to orient in these different buckets of our life to bring ourselves back into integrity. So another word can be like alignment. So for example, if we say that we want to be healthy and vital and have a lot of energy, but we're not doing the things to give us that vitality, to give us that energy, then we're out of integrity with our body. If we're working a job that we absolutely hate in our heart, like we want to be doing this thing over here, we want to start this business, then if you're not taking those action steps, then you're out of integrity with the truth of your heart. So there's all of these different ways that we can view integrity. And if the more places you're out, the more drained you're going to feel. The more misaligned you're going to feel. So it's about like, because it's really easy to just start staying true to your word, right? It's a lot harder to recognize that you're out of integrity in all of these different areas of your life. So that's how I view integrity. That's how I've learned it. That's how I teach it. And that's also how I live my life. Like I tend to reflect deeply on where am I not in integrity in these different areas. And then how do I clean that up? Right. A lot of it's like, how do you, okay, like, do I need to go apologize to someone for not following through? Do I need to renegotiate over here? Do I need to shift my habits over here to do X? Do I need to show up a little bit better in this way? Um, and it's all around reorienting, like, right, that inner alignment of like making sure that we're on the path that we want to be on. But so many men live lives of like quiet desperation because they have this knowing that like something's off. This doesn't feel right, but then they don't take the action steps to get there. And it's a really miserable place of knowing that you don't want to be here, you want to be somewhere else, but you're not doing anything about it. So that's how I view integrity.
So I love that, by the way. Thank you. That's such a succinct explanation. And I like that you broke it down into those four buckets, right? Like you've got your
Mhm.
word, integrity with your word, do what you say what
Yeah.
you do, right? Integrity with your body, right? So that can mean lots of different things. But in your example, it was about if you say you want to be healthy and then you're not working out, or you're eating junk food all the time,
Yeah.
you're smoking or whatever, right? Like you're out of integrity there. Your purpose, that's a big one, I think, for men, but for all humans, but especially
Mhm.
like that purpose, that like providership, that like that and your heart. And I think the heart is probably the most challenging for men, I would imagine. From my
Yeah.
experience as a woman, what I've experienced in men is like hardly any connection to their heart. Like men
Mhm.
are not
Yeah.
taught how to do all of this, right? So I love that.
No.
I want to dive into why it's hard for men to be integrous, because a lot of like they're not. And like just look at the dating scene,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
I'm not judging or anything like that, because there's a lot of like women that are not integrous either.
Mhm.
So it's both sides of the spectrum. However, we're just focusing on men for this particular
Mhm.
episode. We take personal responsibility for the girls on the girls' side.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I the way that I look at it is it's really as men, what was modeled for us by our fathers and by the male figures, for lack of a better word. It doesn't have to be father. It just, who are the male role models in our lives? It could be coaches, it could be uncles, it could be friends, dads. Like, some people didn't grow up without a dad, and that's not their fault. But it's really, we're many generations into just men that lack real strong leadership.
Hmm.
Like, men, we're a couple of generations removed. Like, when we think about our grandparents or our great great grandparents, right? So people that are gone, there was an element of chivalry. There was an element of like, when you say you're going to come over and fix the car for you, like, they do it. And I just think that the last couple of generations, there just haven't been good. There haven't been collectively, like, of course, there's always going to be good men out there. And I believe there have been good men out there. And I'm not saying that the men are bad, because a lot of this is unconscious. And I think that's where like people can get caught up in this kind of like shitting on men. It's like, I'm not shitting on men. I like to just speak in objective truths, right? There's no judgment, there's no shame behind it, because I recognize that most people are just doing the best they can with what they have. And if they're not, if this person's not taught, good masculine leadership, then they're not going to pass that on, and then they're not going to pass that on. And we're kind of now like a couple of generations now where a lot of men just don't have any spine. They don't have the ability to take responsibility, to look at themselves, to improve. They're very stuck in their own ways, and I believe that stuff's passed down. And the first place to look is how your father behaved and how your father acted, right? Um, And if if the men that you grew up around were flaky, if they were highly reactive, if they didn't have any integrity, if they weren't very aligned, if they complained a lot, if they were victims, like, if you grew up around those types of men, then there's a good chance that you are going to behave that way in the world. And it's really tough, because we're in this really painful threshold right now, especially in the dating world, where women are wanting this like modern man who is strong and powerful and aligned and grounded and connected, but also connected to his heart. It's the strong spine. and the soft tender heart. So like good men's work needs to have both, because there's a lot of rigid dudes out there. There's a lot of guys that are cool to just like stay in their zone, and like they go to the gym and they're doing their thing, they're making money, but like they're so disconnected from their emotions and their vulnerability and their heart. And like what I try to teach guys to orient towards is like, it's not the old version of the masculinity, it's not the new version, it's just like this holistic modern man that is connected to both, because then it's all about developing range, because then you have access to all of these traits that make us men, right, that are very old traits that have just been in us forever. But it's like also about developing our heart. So I kind of went on a bit of a side tangent there, but coming back to your original conversation about why aren't men integral, I think it comes down to that. I really think it comes down to what was modeled for us. That was piece number one. And piece number two is it's just really easy to hide in society right now. The modern dating world with apps has created environments where it's really easy for people to flake out, because there's no personal responsibility. Like, think like back in the day, like you used to have to go meet the person to break up with them. Now you can just flip a text, or guys will lie and they'll send photos that they'll found on Google to like, where are you? I'm at work. And then they send a photo of a workplace, and it's like a photo that they grabbed off of Google. Like there's just no personal responsibility that they're taking out there. And it's really easy to hide. Like we live in a very convenient world where um, you just don't have to work that hard to make things happen, in terms of like you can order food to your door, you can order movies to your door, you can like stay at home all day, and like there's not much responsibility. So I think that it's on us as men to break these, what I see is sometimes generational patterns, and like we have to break them, or else we're going to pass them on. We're going to pass them on to the next generation. And I think it's really confronting work that a lot of men need to look at. And just one more point on why is it so important that men learn from men, is because like men need to be shown like, dude, this is your life. Like you're out of integrity here, 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 and here. Here's why your wife's pissed at you. You're completely slacking in this area. Like this is you. And men need to kind of be confronted in the truth of like, stop hiding. This is how you're showing up. Do you want this as your life? Like I'm trying kind of showing you, like as if this, like I'm showing a man like this is you. How does that feel? Most of the time he's like, feels pretty shitty, right? And they need to be held in the fire. They need to be held responsible. They need to be held accountable, or else they will just continue to make excuses and just result back to like what they were taught, what was modeled.
So in that, what I've noticed is that there's shame, right? Like, in that like confrontation, right? There can be some shame in that. And now we're talking like being trauma informed, right? And working with somebody with that trauma, because like there is all of this conditioning that's come down from generation after generation after generation. Like we were talking. I'm going to get you to talk about the boomer
Yeah, yeah.
your boomer post in a minute, but I'm Gen X, and like, oh my God, like the toxicity that I grew up with is insane. Like now when I watch movies, like these
Hmm.
essential 80s movies or whatever, I'm just
Yeah,
like, oh my God, like that would never fly today. You know what I mean?
totally. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
It's like,
Yeah,
holy shit, I can't believe we put up with some of that stuff. And so good, like we're evolving as a species, emotionally and all of that. But there is this shame, I think,
absolutely.
around that. So how do you help men navigate that part when they are confronted by that? Like how do they, there's that Leland Vanderwall quote that says the truth, like of yourself, like if you can handle the truth of yourself without running away, that's true change, right? And not a lot of
Absolutely.
people can do that.
No. So, yeah, my view on shame is that it's a perfectly natural response. Like
Mm,
shame is okay. Shame, a good sense of like a good dose of shame is fuel for growth. And I would never tell a man like don't feel shame. Feel it, but like feel all of it, but then do something. Because I think where a lot of men get caught up is that they start feeling the shame, and then like they kind of like shut it down, or they try to push it away. Where the fastest way to dissolve shame is taking responsibility. Like, if you just start owning it, if you just start owning it and just being like, yes, like as a practice, like as a yoga practice, like in the day, every day of life, being like, man, I really messed up, and like I'm full of shame, and I'm going to start walking in this direction with all of the shame. So it's not like, don't pack it down, don't make it wrong. And that's where a lot of guys go wrong, is like they make it mean something way more about who they are, rather than just like, hey, it's okay to feel shameful. It's okay to feel really icky. If you're looking at a part of your life that you've been avoiding, it's supposed to feel that way. Like, you're not just going to dig out all of this crap in your life and be like, wow, I feel so inspired right now. I think it's getting guys to understand that part of the growth journey is like falling into the crevices and the fire pits, and like like you have to burn and sit in it and sit in the mud and feel the shame and feel the regret and the like despair of like, oh, because you have to allow all that to process, like before you can really start allowing new things to come to fruition in your life. So my view on shame is like allow it to come up and like be with it, and then go do what you need to do anyways. Take responsibility anyways. And what I've found is that the men that I've worked with, myself included, is that shame stops owning you. Like when you start owning your shame, it stops owning you. And you can talk about it. That's a good way, because shame typically thrives in the shadows. Like if you can just like tell a friend, hey, I'm feeling really shameful, here is why, and you can do your best to not mask it, push it down. Like, don't drink, don't do drugs, don't watch social media. Like, just feel the shame fully. So talk about it, feel it, take action anyway. Like, take responsibility and be like, you know what, this feels really shitty. I don't want to show up this way anymore for my partner. I'm full of shame. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to get up at 7 a.m. I'm going to open up my journal. I'm going to start journaling on these things. Like, you're in forward momentum, and like you'd be surprised just how fast the shame can start to just process and dissolve. But I think a lot of men, they see the shame as this like huge issue. It's like, oh, like we're so full of shame. It's like, yeah, we are. But it's part of the journey. It's part of the healing journey. It needs to come up, and you need to like feel it. And it's really, the work is around, how do you not judge it? How do you not make it wrong? That will allow you to continue doing the things that you know you should be doing, or that you want to be doing. Does that make sense?
It makes complete sense. Yeah. And the shame part, like the unresolved shame part goes, like you said, goes into shadow. And then how does that parlay? That parlays as like anger and violence and like just all this crazy shit that we see going on in the world, that is shame right there. Like that shame being expressed is usually
Totally.
anger and violence and things like that, right? And so
Yeah.
like we want a peaceful world, we want a happy world, we want a safe world for our children and for everybody. We need to address this shame piece. And
Yeah.
I would add to what you said too, about the somatic part of it, right? Because
Mhm.
the shame is in um, our nervous system, right? And what a lot of people in general, but also especially men, because there's that gap of
Mhm.
understanding of how emotions work, right? Because like as women, we just have the wiring to understand how emotions work,
Yeah.
right? So but I mean I've worked with hundreds of women, and a lot of women don't know,
Mhm.
and they run
Yeah.
away from it and they hide it and they don't know how to process it, and it's like, don't make me cry because I'll never stop. And so
Yeah.
there's a lot that goes around doing this work in a container,
Yeah.
with somebody who's trauma informed, somebody who's somatic informed, because the talk portion of it is only one portion of it, right? So how do we work on that nervous system part of it too, is recognizing like, okay, this, because the shame, when you're feeling things in your body, um how can I explain this? It's like this takeover,
Mhm.
takeover
Yeah.
happens, right? And all of a sudden you don't know why you feel what you're feeling. Like a lot of men probably can't even identify this as shame.
No,
And so they're
no,
just like, fuck you, like don't
they're just
talk about
overwhelmed.
that. They're
Yeah,
overwhelmed with a sensation
yeah,
that then makes the person in front of you be the enemy that's activating the shame in them, when meanwhile that person
yeah,
might not be doing it on purpose or whatever. This can happen a lot in union, in relationships, I think,
yeah,
intimate relationship, couple relationships. um so it's like teaching people how to be in that fire. What does that mean to be in that fire? And like that
yeah,
discomfort of it in the body, right? And so
yeah.
it's like breath work is really important for that, right? And that's what, this is why I love Tantra Kundalini for myself,
Hmm.
is because that, you know, like you're just taking in that those breaths in at the same
Yeah,
time that you're feeling that shame, right? Or
totally.
doing like Bhastrika or some sort of movement or squats or
Yeah,
something, right?
move it through the body.
Energy out of the body,
Yeah,
right? Yeah. And but then
absolutely.
to your point, not just going to the gym and being a bruh and lifting some weights and then like you're all good. Like it's like you got to do both.
Totally.
You got to
Absolutely.
also do the journaling. You got to also do the therapization. You got to also like talk to the men. You got to also do all those other things, because it doesn't, all you're doing is playing whack-a-mole, and it's going to go to,
Totally.
and it's going to like come out in some other way.
Absolutely. No, I agree 100% with you. And going back to your like point around work, getting around other men is like, when this happens at a men's night or a men's group, like we're not trying to show them their life to make them feel like shit. So then they go off and beat themselves up. Like I tell them, it's like, we're holding you in this like because we love you. Like because we want you to thrive as a man, like we're trying to show you, like we're trying to mirror back to you everything, right? And yeah, absolutely. Like it might bring up a lot of shame, but sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it brings up motivation. It brings up fire. He's like, you know what? Yeah. Like not every man's pattern is to result to shame. Some guys, it's like, you know what? Like you're right, man. Like I got to get up and I got to start, doing X, Y, or Z. So, but yeah, shame is a really big piece for a lot of guys, and it stops them from reaching out. I've had guys that have come to the door of a men's night and stop and like leave and go around because they're just ashamed to be there. And the thing is that I've had so many men that come to a men's group and they're like, it's their first time and it's their first share. And then they share like an issue that's happening in their relationship. And you can see the look on their face is like they're expecting everybody to judge them. And then everyone's like, oh yeah, man, like me too. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And like, nobody's judging you. And then next thing you know, it's like, they're like, they feel like 30% better just because like they don't feel alone.
Yeah.
They're like, my shame doesn't mean any more than that guy's shame. That guy has addictions. That guy's divorced as well. That guy's angry as well. You know what I mean? That guy can't find love. Like you get around other men and you realize that we're all like the human experience, women as well. Like we're all just moving through the world with limitations, with woundings, with patterns, and we're all kind of collectively fumbling around a dark room looking for the light switch.
Yeah.
Um, and it becomes powerful to do it together.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think I think doing this in community is so
Hmm.
important. It's so important, you know. That Me Too moment, you know, not to steal that phrase or anything like that, but
Hmm.
it is a Me Too moment, you know, where you feel seen and you feel
Hmm.
held, you know. And this is the way for men to understand how to be in their hearts. Like this is it. Like for women, or like I don't know, we're just like it's so easy,
I know.
but it's not.
Yeah.
It's not, right? But for us,
Yeah.
we're just like, this is so easy. Just go into your heart. Like,
Yeah.
and dudes are like, yeah, no, not that
Yeah.
easy.
Like this is so scary. What's so funny though is that there's also a narrative that men aren't emotional, which is bullshit.
It
They
is bullshit.
are. They're
Mhm.
just connected. Like men are highly emotional. It's why they can be so reactive and so angry and
Right.
so like frustrated and like they walk around with this like cloud over their heads of this doom and gloom and they're all pissed off all the time or grumpy. Um, they're just like their emotional expression is very unconscious and toxic and a lot of it is like shadowy, but it's like they're very much connected to their emotions. They're just connected to all the stuff that creates sabotage in their life rather than that, creates more love, creates more
Mhm.
connection. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's not an easy path for a lot of men.
Yeah. But you know what? If you're listening and there's something inside of you that's like,
Hmm.
I want more, like there's a lean in, lean in.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
I always say, like when I started this work, right?
Hmm.
So it is so confronting. It's so
Hmm.
confronting. It's like, I don't, but it's like when you've done it enough times, that crazy sensation in your body, that somatic sensation in your body that I was referring to, starts to go away. Or it comes and you're like, oh, I know what that is, right? And you can process through it. You're not bypassing it, but you can process through it super fast.
Hmm.
Like, oh, I know what
Yeah.
wound that's attached to. Okay, cool. I know how to work myself through this. And then I always say, it's like, just come to the other side. Like the water is so warm here. It's like getting into a nice jacuzzi.
Yeah.
Like it's so like it's so worth it to do this work, I think, personally. Um, uh-oh. Did you freeze, Ian? Oh no. He might have frozen. Uh-oh. We'll give him a minute here. See if he gets back on. This is so juicy. Oh, dang. Anyway, we'll just give him a minute here and hopefully he can come back on because this is such a beautiful conversation. And I do work with men. I have worked with men, and but I would not consider myself an expert by any means. And I think that um men working with men is a really important thing to look at. And like myself, when I started doing this work for myself, I predominantly worked in women's groups and women's circles, and I found that that created such a safe environment for me to like really understand what being a woman meant, because I didn't really understand what any of that meant. And that like seeing that femininity and what it means to be in my body and what it means to be connected to my intuition. There he is. Really gave me that opportunity to be able to um, feel into that for myself and create something for myself. Hey, Ian, we lost you there.
I'm back. Here we are
You're
again.
back. Yay. Yay. I held the room. I held the
Yeah.
room while you were gone.
I'm not gonna lie. I have this power box beneath my desk, and I went to adjust my foot and I kicked it and I killed the whole power in my whole computer. So
No
here
worries.
we are.
I think this
Yeah.
happened once somebody else I was interviewing too.
Yeah.
Actually, another guy, like something was happening. Um, so I wanna chat with you a little bit about and this will segue into this whole boomer thing. But
Hmm.
okay, you mentioned before about chivalry. Okay, I love chivalry. Like oh my God, the fastest way to my heart is just to be chivalrous. Like, yes,
Yeah.
open my doors, like do all those things. Like I love, love, love it. And it's gone a lot.
Hmm.
Not a lot of men are like that anymore. Try to teach my sons how to do that. And their dad is very big on chivalry, and he's always like, hold that door open, and things like that. Um, but it's not just that. And so I think that, yes, there was a generation where men were true to their word and they were showing up and they were, pursuing in a different kind of way, right? Like there were actual dates. Um,
Yeah.
you know, that's a,
Yeah.
a rare thing nowadays. I love being dated. I love being romance.
Totally.
Really important for me forever and ever. Amen. Like that doesn't end just
Yeah.
because we're a couple, you know what I mean? And I love that, right? But I think what these men were missing was the ability for them to understand what it means to be in their heart, what it means to be tapped into those emotions, because
Hmm.
I think about like my grandfather, for example, could be considered a loving, chivalrous man took care of my grandmother and my mom and their family. Like he was the breadwinner and my nana was at home, so that kind of like traditional sort of role, if you will. And he was always like, I love my wife, and he was always like expressing all of these things. But then I found out, like, as I got older, that he was actually like mean sometimes, and like had this temper. And I found
Hmm.
out that my grandmother wasn't allowed to dance. Like once they got married, she was like 19 or 18 or something like that, and she was no longer
Mm.
allowed to dance. So,
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, that did exist at one point in time, but there was a lot of like repression or something. Like, I don't even know what you want to.
totally.
What's your thought on that? And then segueing into your post where you're like, don't
Yeah,
take advice from boomers.
totally. No, I think this is good, and I think what you're kind of alluding to is really what I work on with a lot of men. And what I tell the guys is that I talk a lot about cultivating a lot of traits such as depth and presence, right? Because a lot of what I teach is through the lens of safety. Like, how do we show up as men that creates safety for our partner? That's through keeping our word. It's through following through on like taking care of things around the house. It's the chivalry, but it's also the claim. It's also the like, how do you like let her know like you are mine, like I love you,
Mhm.
like I am not going anywhere. Like, how do you show her through your energy, through your actions, through your breath, through your gaze, through the way that you show up, that you are like 100% into the relationship? Because like women want their man to take the lead. Like if you drop, they don't want us to control, but they want us to take the lead. They want us to claim. They want us to pursue. They want us to like set the date night and like, hey, we're gonna be here at 7 p.m. Like, wear that dress. Like, we're gonna go get some nice food. Like, I'm gonna take care of you. Like, women want that level of leadership, but they don't want all of the like the toxicity of and like, no, you can't dance and no, you can't talk to other people and like they all that controlling stuff. They don't want that. So this is what it goes into like the modern man, right? It's like somebody who is calm, deep, grounded, taking the lead in the relationship, is connected to his purpose and has direction, but he's also connected to his heart, and he's able to like provide leadership and direction, and that is what women are looking for, right? I'm sure you can probably agree with that. And so when I talk about why don't I take advice from the older generations, it's because I don't see that. And that was kind of I mean, that post kind of, I mean, we can talk about it a little bit. Well, I'd like just love to hear your thoughts on that first, though. Like, is that what women are looking for? Or am I completely off there?
Well, okay. As a fully embodied feminine woman who is independent, recovering type A,
Hmm.
sexual, sensual, um, heterosexual, hundo P.
Yeah,
Yes. Um, yes, because
it's a generalization,
it
but
is a
like,
generalization
yeah,
because there's nuances in there.
for
However,
sure.
what I crave in the masculine, or what I want and what I didn't know I want, like that at an
Hmm.
unconscious level, is I don't want to fucking think.
Exactly.
And especially like I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a mom, I'm on 24/7. When I'm with my
Yeah,
man, I don't want to think. And I love it when he thinks.
yeah,
And it's not that I'm stupid. It's not that I can't
yeah,
make my own decisions. It's not that I don't have a say in those decisions. It's just
yeah.
that, like, I don't care, you decide. And what I love when the masculine shows up like that is my favorite phrase, that just like, I've got this.
I've got it already done.
This already done.
Yeah, already
Like,
done. Taken care of.
like even when I'm kind of like, I don't know, I mean, I'm having my girl moment, and he's like, it's okay, I already know what to do. It's like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
thank you.
Absolutely. And like, I encourage guys to pay attention to stuff more because it happens in our relationship as well. Like she carried like the all of that for the longest part of our relationship, and it's
Yeah.
crazy how it's such a simple concept, but it just lights up the feminine nervous system, right?
Oh,
She's like, "Oh, we got to do park and fly, done, already taken care of, already booked." She's like,
mm,
"Oh, like it's actually a turn on." You
it
know what I
is.
mean? For a guy to just like get things done without being told,
Mhm.
and just see things. And what's funny on that is that most men that are like running businesses that are high performers, high operators, we do this in the work or business context all the time. We're constantly thinking ahead and like that has to get done and like we're really good. But when it comes to relationships, we seem to forget or we just like don't recognize because I think a lot of times we default that to women. We
Okay.
default the like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. But also, that's our fault because we also created a freaking paradigm of feminism where we were like, fuck y'all, we've got this, we can do this all on our own. We've got our shoulder pads and we don't need men. So I'm kind of like being emphasis here, but like that's kind of sort of what happened. And like so we had this whole cultural thing, right? After the wars, women had to go to work, and then we were recognizing that we weren't getting paid and we're still doing all this labor at home and labor there. So like let's get paid more. And then the 80s happened and everybody was like, doing coke and like wearing
Yeah,
that, right?
totally.
And then so the women were in these boardrooms, and a lot of the work that I do with women is helping them get out of that like
Yeah,
hostility within themselves, this like masculine
totally.
that is just not helping them anymore. And so now they're showing up in a relationship with a man, being in that more aggressive, assertive, masculine energy. So I think that like we're both responsible here, um,
100%.
for
Yeah, like
how that happens, and it's women's
yeah,
responsibility depending on your dynamic. Again, this is
for
like
sure.
we're kind of like on that heterosexual sort of like dynamic
Yeah,
here, right? There's 1,000 million different iterations of this. But in this particular context, it's like the work for the women is learning how to soften and learning
let
how to
go.
receive, right?
Yeah,
If you can't receive your man making a plan or saying you've got this, then you're going to lose that polarity, you're going to lose that dynamic in that, right?
totally.
There's a responsibility for us too, us
Yeah.
girls on this side, to be like and like to
Yes.
encourage that in our men as well,
Yeah.
you
Because I
know.
hear that from men as well, where like they try to step up and then they're met with her like outdoing him. Or it's like they try to do something and then she tries to control it or like change it or like and it's you're 100% right. Like there's work on both sides that like as men are kind of stepping up, women also need to like let them,
Yeah,
right? Because what ends up happening is you get into this like masculine energy fighting match, and it's a terrible dynamic to be in. It's like it just turns into arguments and fights, and he's like, "I'm trying," and she's like, "Well, you're not doing good enough," and he's like, "Well, fuck you," and she's like, "Well, this isn't working," and then people eject, shut down, they leave, and it's like it's not productive. Um, and because we have these parts in all of us, right? We all have masculine and feminine in every human being. It's just about like recognizing like where are your strengths, where are your weaknesses, and then like where do you want to orient towards. And I think you're right around the feminism piece. Like I think a lot of women are starting to backpedal, thinking like maybe this isn't what we want. Like I still want to have a career, I want to run a business, but like no, I don't want to be in my like masculine energy 12 hours of the day and then get home and then be burning through all the tasks at home and thinking and do all these things, and you get to the end of the night and you're absolutely fried. And something that I've been doing, recently, which is like really learning about the menstrual cycle and like understanding that like our hormone system resets every morning.
yeah,
It's very linear. And like I'm learning now that they don't, 30 days in a month, you're not feeling on and energized and like ready to do shit. And it's like teaching men to understand like there's even like nuance to if you want to like really show up well for her, like understand where she is, and like there's different things that you can do and take off of her plate. There's ways that you can cook for her. And I'm teaching these guys these things and they're like, what do you mean their system's not ready to go 30? Like guys don't even know. They have no damn idea how their partner's hormone systems and how their partner's nervous systems are functioning. So I spend a lot of time just like educating dudes on like, here's why she's exhausted. Here's why she's upset with you. And a lot of it can be prevented and avoided by just like thinking, like you're saying, getting a man that can like think and plan ahead and learn.
Take action.
Yeah,
And a lot of women don't even know about their cycles.
I know it's
Another thing
crazy.
that this whole society, if we're calling it patriarchal or whatever, has done is it's just completely muted us. It's muted us.
Yeah,
The feminine has not been celebrated for the last like several, however long. And we've been muted. And so of our cycles. And some of the things that I've talked about in other episodes is how like, or with my friends or whatever, clients and stuff, is like we don't live in a society that allows for the feminine to flow, right? Because
no,
the structure is so tight.
it is.
It
Yeah,
doesn't allow us, like especially in corporate or something like that, right? Like,
yeah.
I'm
Oh
sorry,
yeah,
I'm having like really bad cramps and you have no idea how that feels for me. I can't go into work today. Yeah, that does not
yeah.
apply, right?
100%. Yeah. Society has like it's not been designed for women to thrive, period.
No,
It
not
just
at
hasn't. And it's I'm all for it. Like I'm all for, I've been saying this for a couple of years. I'm like women are going to be running the world, but through their feminine, not through their masculine shell, because it's powerful and it has been suppressed and repressed for just like hundreds and hundreds of years. And it's such beautiful healing energy that the world needs.
yeah.
And yeah, we need space for it. We could spend a whole episode just on that.
Well,
But
why don't we?
yeah,
I have so many like repeat guests because of the
yeah,
reason. Like it starts to get juicy right near the end, and then we're like, oh my god, okay, we got to do another.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well. So let's begin to wrap up here. Is there anything that you haven't said?
Hmm. There's probably lots that I haven't said. I think if I were to leave it, I think that the note that I want to leave with is that I want men to see this as an opportunity. Like this is an opportunity to show up in a way that can create healing in each other, can create healing for women, healing for children. Like I really want them to know that when we do this work as men, because this is really the first time in history that we're starting to really dive into this stuff collectively as men. Um, like it's going to change the world. And we are hundreds of years behind women in communication and emotions and personal growth. And we're working against a lot of generational stuff, but like allowing yourself to like see the fact that if you do the work today, you're going to impact a kid it's going to change his world, going to change her world. And I just think we have a duty and an obligation as men to do this work. I think that we've spent hundreds and thousands of years creating pain and suffering. And I now think it's on us to start reversing that. So, if you're a guy out there or your partner's, asking you to grow, I want you to see it as an opportunity, not as a burden, because it's really going to create a positive impact in the world. I've seen it in my own life. I've seen it in my community. I've seen it with my wife. I've seen it in the groups that I run and the men that I'm around. There's like really beautiful things that are emerging out of it. And yeah, it's uncomfortable, but I just believe it's our duty.
I love that. And what would you say to a woman or women on how we can hold space for this and not get impatient? Because there are whole entire cohorts of women now that are
Yeah,
completely eliminating men from their lives.
totally. Yeah, I mean, I firmly believe that at the end of the day, it's on men to get other men into this and to help hold each other accountable. I never obviously, like, we already know that most, like, 99% of women are like, they're on board. They're like, absolutely, like, dude, go to a men's group, like, that would be great.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't think it should be on women to hold space anymore. I think that women have been holding space for their partners for far too long now. They've been leading the relationship dynamic, holding everything, and I just think this is on us to, yeah, what's the reference I use? Like pull each other out of the mud, like brush each other off and like help them live one more day. but I believe this is on men to help men. And we already know that women are there. You're very supportive, very loving, and whatnot, very supportive. So that's what I would say about that.
Well, thank you. See, you've got this. That's basically what
Mhm.
you just said.
Yeah,
I love
that's the energy. Yeah,
the energy. We've got this. Don't
yeah,
you worry about it.
we're gonna get there.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
my gosh. See, I
yeah,
just I feel
hmm
relaxed in that now, you know? And it's the
yeah,
tension of like not having had that be true, right? Like men have got this, right? It at a general, like at that societal level, keeps women very tense and very like on edge, right? And so when you hear we've got this, it's like, oh, and all
got it.
men want a soft woman, right?
I
So
know.
like, how do you get there? Like, stop
Yeah,
blaming us for being so hard.
yeah. It's like you want a queen, start acting like a king, man.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
I love it.
Yeah.
Oh my
So
goodness. Okay. Well, so Ian, tell us a little bit more about like how people can work with you. And I love that you're a BC guy and
yeah.
you're in one of the most beautiful places in British Columbia in Squamish. But do you do like online for anybody who's not in Canada? Like how do people work with
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, the local guys, fortunately, in my one-on-one coaching practice, they get me in person and we go out into the mountains and we do this work in nature.
you?
But I do offer online as well. So you can get in contact with me through my Instagram or through my website. But private coaching, in my opinion, is one of the quickest ways for guys to start getting into this stuff. I am going to be launching a online men's community soon, which is something that guys will be able to tune into globally. And it's all centered around some of the concepts we were chatting about today around creating more trust, creating more safety, showing up better in relationships. So that's going to be a really cool thing. So if you're a guy out there, you're a woman out there listening, and you think your partner might want to be a part of that type of community, there's a wait list that I can send you the link or something like that, and we can get you signed up.
Perfect. Well, we can put it in the show notes too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Mhm, mhm. Ian, thank you. Thank you for doing this work. Um,
Mm,
thank you for following the message of like that path, that this is your path. Um,
yeah.
and yeah, like just thank you for being here too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Thanks for having me. I
great. This one
appreciate
went
it.
too fast. This one went by too
I
fast.
know. I know.
Yeah.
It could be 3 hours of this. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
cool.
Yeah, and thank you as well to the listener and the watcher of the Dirt and the Divine. I'm so grateful that you're here. I hope that you've enjoyed this episode and that you go and follow Ian on Instagram and check out his work. You can also check out my work and my platforms and how I help people, step into healthy nervous systems and a joyfully sexy aligned life. You can find me on Instagram at the Krisha Young and go to my website for my different offerings. And there's also a free journal associated with the Dirt and the Divine. If you want to download that as well, you can find that. All right. Thank you so much, Ian. I really appreciate
Thanks.
you being here.
Thanks, Krisha. I appreciate being here. It's been fun.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.